Okay, what we're doing is we're gonna cut this up, and then I'm probably gonna be really disappointed that I ruined a countertop. Most of my successful mitered waterfall edges have been cast pieces, so they're very thick, so you have a lot of forgiveness on that miter if there's any flex in your saw. So here we'll have 0 of that. So I'm gonna cut the legs and let's see what we get.
I mean 36 minus the what?
Yeah, and think about whatever that is. If do you want the bottom or the top? So if I run this up to 36 inches and I run my miter perfect, then this leg should be exactly 36 inches tall, right? Except I'm probably gonna have to trim my legs. I'm just guessing they might not be perfectly square, and I'd like to run them through a table saw or something and make them absolutely perfect, most likely. So I think
burn an inch.
I think even burn like 2 or 3 inches, and don't be shy with it, or 2 inches. I don't know. What do you all? Anybody disagree with that? Run it up to 38.
What are you running?
The
legs?
Yeah, I'm gonna do my miter cuts on this. Yeah, I think so.
I got a carpenter that does this stuff.
You got a what? 38. And I try never to measure all the way to my end if I think my end was chewed up at all. Try to set that exactly. I'm going to trace that line just so I can visibly see if I track off of it, because I'm actually scared right now, so I don't want to mess up our whole week's work. I've failed at more of these than I've done, guys. So, I mean, I failed at more than I've succeeded. The last 2 have been good, but when you've failed like 5 and then 2 work, you don't get super excited to try the third win. It still scares you. Okay, try if you can to turn your clamp in a little bit so it doesn't bow the track up. So like that? Yeah, I was doing the same thing.
Because that's as far in as I can get over here.
Yeah, same. I think we're good there now. All right.
Example I want to show.
Oh, we got it. Thank you, man.
That's your leg?
Yeah. Oh, there's our first end cut. I don't know if you guys have questions. Do you guys have any questions? You obviously all saw what we just did. So now we'll move the process down there. We'll mark 38 inches up. We'll mark what center of a piece of tape if you guys want. And we'll start making a cut down there at 38 inches. Cap on the top and on the bottom, and we have really soft particle wood and a particle board in the center. So usually if you plunge too deep, you end up warping, and that's a pretty large blade that's a medium, but that's a big enough blade that if you start getting it hot running it through epoxy, and then softwood especially, it'll really warp in that softwood, and you'd get a really nasty cut. So I have so many of these, I'd rather make multiple really small passes, try to keep my blade cool, rather than overwhelm the saw and I have to put it together. My Legos are not Legos. That's especially epoxy because it heats blades up because it kind of pinches on it. It never, wood will cut out and spin free and clear, whereas epoxy is kind of constantly rubbing it, creating friction, so it'll warp stuff really fast. Yep. Right now I have a bunch of goo here. That's actually drying wood filler. I mixed wood glue with our actual sawdust from cutting this, so I could try to color match a few screw holes here. And this is going to be a drain board, and I'm going to make it to where this drains so you can set dishes up here and drain into your main working sinks. The sink here is built with grade plywood so that we can match the kick panel on the front. And since I can't set it today, or I might set it in a while, I may actually set it into the epoxy. But I think that's going to be a pretty sweet sink. What do you guys think? I mean, once it's epoxied, it's going to be impervious to moisture. I know I've seen some people in it, and my perception that they lack artistic ability. So now I'm going to do it with no artistic ability. I just like it to be my mess up and not theirs. I'd rather screw something up than never try to do something, wouldn't you guys? Now, if you notice, I'm going to be running a blade on here, and I have sealed a lot of wood, and this is very flat, very finished grade plywood, so it should be a little more forgiving than most. But my job is not just to squeegee this across and try to get the epoxy back off of it. Your job is to actually try to work that epoxy into the surface as much as you possibly can. So be very patient. You have plenty of work time here. Just don't rush it. Say what?
They said you can afford.
I just can't afford to be a loser, that's all. I have to present people for you because I'm your guys' servant. I think a good boss should be a servant to his customers and whatnot. So if you guys say you want something, then I build it for you guys. That's where success comes from, is service to others. It's not from a fancy scam or a salesman talking fast. If you solve people, if you guys are anybody out there, a young businessman trying to make money and can't figure out what's happening, just make sure you're valuable to your customers, and all your troubles will be solved so fast. I have a lot of guys show up and some amazing customers and amazing young men, but I can say a real misconception is people want to always learn how to be more of a salesperson or something, and I'm like, if you learn the process and you give quality, you're always going to always find you. Now I don't want a ton of excess on there because I just want this sealed, and I'm even going to come back in and torch it, and I may wipe some of it right back off after I torch it. So you know, I'm glad I've been sitting here thinking quiet on my live about the can afford it. I'm just going to explain something to you guys. When I started out in business, I was very poor. I worked very hard, and a lot of times I worked against myself, and I didn't realize it because I was an honest person and I worked hard. But I tried to save money so much that a lot of times it actually worked contrary. Now, I think being a good steward with what you're blessed with is very important, and being careful with it. But I realized that I was doing what a lot of other people did. I would run the ad in the newspaper because I couldn't really afford to do advertising the right way or whatnot, something like that, if that makes any sense. I always did some things very one-dimensionally, thinking I could save money. And when I really ended up, after a few years of that, I started realizing traditional advertising doesn't work. You have to stand out. If you're not a massive company, you shouldn't copy what massive companies do, but you something of sizable or something impressive to get recognized, to brand yourself or market yourself. So if you don't have a ton of money but you want to get your name out there and have people impressed, go to like a local gym or something, somewhere where they can't afford to get new countertops done, and just tell them, hey, if you pay for my building materials and my epoxy, I'll do a free entryway countertop or something. And the reason I say gyms is every town has a gym. Every town has an old gym with old people that work out there, and they're probably all the most wealthy, well-off people in whatever your community is. And I see a lot of people do stuff like that. I've been advising that for a while, and I'm like, just get around people, give them quality, do something free for somebody, let them see if they like it, and then success will follow you. So don't say you can't afford it. Just figure out what you can afford, what you can't, and work a deal out. And figure a lot of business owners and stuff, they're not at a huge profit margin. So if they'll pay for your products, and that's kind of how I did a lot of my big first projects. I made deals with people. I did a lot of free work, but they'd pay for products and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with starting out small like that and just making deals. So just make sure you take care of those people. And then say, hey, I'm going to epoxy my card or my phone number right into the end of the table. And most of those people, if they're getting it free, they're not going to care. So, oh, I'm not too sad with that. What do you guys think? Now I'm going to go right over my whole. See, now that, not maybe the most. I'm not sure that I'm going to write instructions on how to seal a sink like this with 120 degree epoxy that's half set, but I love it because that is never going to bubble. So. There we are. We're almost done. Last-ish, maybe one more. Oh, right here. Now I'm just pulling all the excess off the wall so I don't have air bubbles. All right, guys. Now, you definitely want to be careful because you saw just how thin that layer was. I did not put any excess on there. So I'm going to probably sand this out tomorrow, see what I got, and I'm either going to do it totally satin epoxy like we have on the countertop, or I might pour another layer and get it really glossy.